welcome all of you here this morning, and also our viewing audience. If you're watching us for the first time, the YouTube video, I do suggest that you sign up for our weekly Sunday Talks, and you can do that by going to the White Mountain Education Association website. And if you go to the home page, you'll see on the left-hand side of the home page a menu. And if you just go down, let your eyes scroll down that menu, you'll see where there's a place that you can subscribe. You just click on that and you can subscribe just one time, and every Sunday, or I guess Friday and Saturday, you'll receive a notification of what the title of the Sunday Talk is going to be. And if you join in for the Sunday Talk, you'll have an opportunity to enjoy the meditation. Anyway, so I welcome you all. This morning, I'm going to be talking about Agni Yoga and the spirit of gratitude. For those of you who are Shakespearean academicians, I can't say that word. If you love Shakespeare, I had a dear friend that was used to teach Shakespeare. I was so amazed and respectful of her, because she not only taught it, she was so engaged in it that you could see her students just totally thrilled and enthralled. Even if they didn't understand the language, they felt it. It was so beautiful. Anyway, this is something I found. It's from the 12th Night, Act 3, Scene 4, where Shakespeare said, "I hate ingratitude more in a man than lying, vainness, babbling, drunkenness, or any taint of vice whose strong corruption inhabits our frail blood." That was Shakespeare, again from the 12th Night. Living in a country like the United States, which provides an abundance not experienced in undeveloped countries like Eastern Europe and South and Central America and the Middle East and the Far East, I oftentimes see how we as a society are afflicted by thoughtless arrogance. The spirit of real gratitude has dimmed. It's interesting when you have time to visit other cultures. I was thinking like Mongolia. Mongolia is a more popular country now to visit, but back when I was there, the only real roads they had was in Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital of Mongolia. And those roads were bumpy, and there is no environmental protection there or controls, and people basically live in yurts, which is like a tent to us, and they live outside. It's so amazing to me. Their families are all outside during the summer months, winter not, because winter is brutal there. But they're having so much fun together with so little. In India, I remember going through this little town, actually it's outside of Sikkim, and walking up this very muddy dirt road, and the houses along the sides of the dirt road are straw huts, basically straw huts. But in one of these straw huts, there was a family of 12, 15 people, and they had an old Singer sewing machine, the treadle machine. You remember that? Probably some of you don't even know what that is. Where in order to get that sewing machine going, there was like a treadle that your feet had to push, just like riding a bicycle, to get that machine going, and you had to keep your feet going. That was the richest family in that whole little community. It was the happiest community ever. And yet they had so little. But what they had gratitude for. Like they were all so grateful for that treadle sewing machine, because from that sewing machine, people were able to have clothes, tablecloths, lots of fabric, and you could buy the fabric, and they had a little community where they sold their wares, and they would lay out these plastic tarp and had all kinds of beautiful cloths there, and they would buy the cloth and take it to the family and have, the child's school clothes made. And so that sewing machine, that treadle sewing machine, Singer sewing machine, was really remarkable, and everybody was so grateful for it. Then I think of our 40-inch TVs, remote control. We don't even have to move to change the channel. Anyway, so oftentimes the spirit of real gratitude has dimmed when we just have too much stuff. Our mechanical, physical senses become so saturated with pleasure and expectation that we find it very forbidding and frightening to accept a condition of lack. Just think when the electricity goes out for 2 or 3 hours, what do we do? We can't, our computer's dead. We can't hear music. Oh yeah, the iPad may still be on. And if it goes for 6 or 7 hours at a time, it's, what happens? We start going outside, and we might meet a neighbor. It's so interesting. At the very first experience of deprivation, we will barter our bliss of spirituality. This is a key phrase here, bliss of spirituality, in order to satisfy our earthly deprivation or lack. So what does it mean to barter our bliss of spirituality? It means we are throwing away the essence of the teaching. We throw away our time spent in service to others. We throw away our gratitude and return to living a life of the ordinary person, devoid of the spirit of gratitude. I know that's not a joyful thought, but we see this. It's almost like a contagious disease. The more we're around a disease like that, it seems to infect us and poison us. So we don't want to barter our bliss of spirituality. We want that spirit of gratitude to be in every single experience and action and thought and feeling and emotion that we have. This is one of my favorite stories. It is about St. Sergius and his disciples. Helena Rourke, the founder of Agni Yoga, describes St. Sergius as one with a gray beard. She says how his flaming spirit permeates all he gives to others and performs in service. She describes how his disciples revere him and bow themselves before this mighty prince. As the story goes on, her story, she says about St. Sergius, "But should the bread cart be delayed, the beloved brethren cannot sustain their faith for even a single hour. Should his purse be momentarily depleted, then the worthy and chosen brethren are ready to barter the wondrous bliss for a stranger's penny." One day the monastery was without bread for 2 days. Some of the monks commented to St. Sergius, "We have followed you, we have obeyed your orders, but tomorrow we will go to look for food. We will not return because we cannot bear the poverty and lack of food in this place." Saint Sergius responded through the words of Matthew, saying, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, nor about your body, nor what you shall put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they?" says St. Sergius, quoting Matthew. He told them then that they were being tested. He stated that although you do not have any bread today, tomorrow God will give you all that you need. As he was talking to the monks, a person knocked on the door of the monastery, bringing 2 full carts of bread and food. St. Sergius did not eat anything, but he went instead to first thank God. Only after giving gratitude did he bless the breads and distribute them to the entire community. How grateful we should be for the gifts that we enjoy. Absence of gratitude is the mark of the narrow, uneducated mind. It demonstrates a lack of spiritual knowledge and an ignorance of self-sufficiency. An absence of gratitude expresses itself how? This is very interesting, and it's from the teaching. An absence of gratitude expresses itself in ugly egotism, anger, vanity, jealousy, and revenge. We have seen our beaches, our parks, our forests littered with ugly refuse by those who evidently have no appreciation for beauty. We are creating so much of ugliness in the world in which we live. It is found in the disfigured earth, the polluted waters and air. I was thinking even, when I was in India, and particularly in Calcutta, and also in Darjeeling, all areas that spiritual people, esoteric students, to them, going to India and going to Darjeeling and going to Calcutta and other places in India, we almost have a romantic idea, an image of being there. And yet when you go into Calcutta, you will never ever get the stench, the smell out of your psyche, ever. It is so bad. In Darjeeling, the same way, garbage is heaped up along the sides of the road. Dogs eating garbage. These are not images that we imagine when we think about India. But the good news is that more and more disciples, as they go to these different places in the world that are spiritual icons, because of the history that's associated with the masters and hierarchy and these locations, we want to beautify these areas. So it's like the stupa of Helena Rourke, which is in Kalimpong. There are Agni Yoga students that are literally sacrificing themselves, flying over there, putting their money into the care of the stupa and the gardens that are surrounding that stupa. We have a little negotiation with a monastery that's really close by, and a couple of their monks will come over, and there's a gardener that we are now paying that is caring, for her beautiful stupa. But it didn't used to be like that. It used to be covered with weeds, until some disciples went over there and their hearts hurt so much to see, the disarray of, a symbol that was so magnificent in our hearts and minds that they said, we have to do something about this. So little by little by little, those who have the spirit of gratitude begin to make changes. And I think that is what's going on all around the world today. We also find people who express themselves through coarse language or in sloppy dress and manners, or in a behavior that blemishes the beauty of the great ones, are leaving scars in our heart. It hurts our heart. It hurts our heart. It hurts my heart when I hear someone speaking disrespectfully about my teacher. And I know you feel the same way. Or of a mother, if someone speaks derogatorily about your child, it hurts your heart. But with the spirit of gratitude, we can meet the challenges of each new day. Where there is appreciation and gratitude, there is consideration of others. This is important that you hear this. Where there is appreciation and gratitude, there is consideration of others. Without gratitude, there is arrogance and evil. Where there is gratitude, there is humility rather than pride. So it doesn't mean that if we say thank you, that we have the spirit of gratitude. It may mean we just mechanically say thank you. Or we can mechanically say, oh, I'm grateful for the day. We have to have the spirit of gratitude in our heart and in our mind and in our thinking and truly in our understanding of what gratitude is. We know that each immersion or each incarnation in the dense physical body inevitably obscures the knowledge of the Spirit. This is why we have to fight against that obscuration. Now, for example, in the esoteric teachings of the East, it is indicated that Lucifer came to our earth together with other high spirits who sacrificed themselves for the acceleration of the evolution of the planet and its humanity. However, Lucifer was not the highest among his brethren. And when the time came for him to take on the earthly and dense sheaths, his spirit could not remain on his former heights. In all the following ages, we see him as the fierce antagonist of his great brothers, who were continuously ascending in the glory of light. Lucifer is now the head of the dark brotherhood, which is very powerful, for it has co-workers among the masses over the entire span of the planet. When we do not believe in the spiritual, in this case the power of the spirit of gratitude, we easily fall into the snares set by the numerous agents of darkness. One of the most beautiful spiritual gifts we have to foil the dark agents, the masses of dark agents who try to trap the soul in matter, is the spirit of gratitude. So the spirit of gratitude is a divine gift. The spirit of gratitude is made of the very essence of Christ and the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. A great one once said that a person is equal to his gratitude. So gratitude is the highest form of respect. It means to appreciate and to give recognition to each other. To be grateful is to have in your consciousness the good deeds, the feelings and thoughts that you enjoy in others, right? It is feeling and expressing gratitude for everything in creation with which we are blessed. Even that little treadle sewing machine. It brought such joy to the entire community. Gratitude is a way to radiate our blessing. We must be grateful to the opportunities presented to us. And this is from the teaching, every opportunity, whether it is painful or joyful, is a chance to increase the light within us. Through such opportunities, we build our foundation for the future. For example, our spiritual teacher tells us that we have a vanity, or that we might be behaving in an ugly way. Well, what are we going to do? Some people will place a false mask on their face with a smile, and then turn their back to the guidance in anger and arrogance. Are you going to get mad at the teacher for his honesty, for doing his job? Does your mechanical thinking say, who is he to single me out, when there are others that are a lot worse than myself? Or will you have the spirit of gratitude for the time and attention your teacher is giving to you? I remember after 2 or 3 years of these experiences, finally one morning my teacher came up to me and he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I need a break." And he gave me a big hug and he said, "Okay, you have the day off." It was so cute. But too often our arrogance reacts to the instruction of the teacher. When this happens, our behaviors will lead us into further problems, and the teacher may withdraw his guidance, leaving us to our own earthly devices. So I thanked God I had a day off, but not the rest of my life. You know, it is such a blessing to have an earthly teacher. It is said that each gratitude shown to the teacher indicates a right understanding of the teaching. But for the one for whom guidance is burdensome, there can never be any approach to the teacher. The teaching is not abstract, but gives most practical suggestions for the application in life. Therefore, let us hold in our hearts all that is said about the spirit of gratitude, and let us watch the purity of our thoughts. And that was stated by Helena Rourke, Letters, first volume, page 57. When we lose the spirit of gratitude, we become critical of others, and we condemn their actions. Let me repeat this because I think it's so important that we remember this. Sometimes, you know, our intellect is so full of pride that we can easily set some of these ideas over here because we rationalize here that it doesn't apply to us, so we're going to rationalize whatever the situation is and put it over here, and that way it's behind us and it doesn't relate to us. So let me repeat this. When we lose the spirit of gratitude, we become critical of others and condemn their actions. Helena Rourke states, from continuous repetitions of criticisms and condemnations, calluses will appear on the brain. And then, how can one achieve the broadening of consciousness? Calluses on the brain. We could spend a good half an hour talking about the signs of calluses on the brain. So think about this. Think about, what does it mean to have a callus on the brain? Well, I'm going to briefly talk about this. When I used to be a professional violinist for years and years and years, and when you play stringed instruments, whether it's a violin or even a guitar, I would imagine, or a string bass or a cello, you have to have calluses on the tips of your fingers. And this only occurs over a period of time, usually 4 to 5 years. Then when I retired from playing the violin, it took about 8 to 10 years before those calluses, went away. These calluses are necessary for the violin so that you can play more precisely and use those strings. Okay, if we transfer that and think of calluses, on the brain, certain areas of the brain become numb. We lose our sensitivity. And in some cases, we lose our memory. This is not just an aging process, it's more than that. I think there's a tendency in society today to believe that it's natural to have a loss of memory as you age. But to the disciple, it is not natural. Why? Is because we undergo the process of purification, concentration, meditation, contemplation. All of these activities increase the blood flow in the brain, vitalizing, keeping the brain purified, and getting rid of those calluses. So if we find ourselves starting to have memory problems, we don't have to say, okay, my goose is cooked, that's it, I'm old. We have remedies. To start with is concentration. In that concentration, we become aware of where is our gratitude lacking, because gratitude is a high spiritual energy. So every time we have a thought, we can say, does the spirit of gratitude penetrate this thought, or our emotion, or our feeling? Are we negative? Am I having a really bad day? Replace it with the spirit of gratitude. And the same thing with our physical body. If we have a pain in our physical body, do we shut down? Or do we find a way to understand that that pain might be a symptom that we can take care of now instead of 10 years from now, when we can't do anything about it? So the spirit of gratitude in all things, all feelings, all actions, all thoughts is so vital to our health. And it will get rid of those calluses and allowing us to have, as a result, a broadening of consciousness. The teacher wants to see us apply the spirit of gratitude to the opportunities given to us with solemnity and sincerity. The Great One also said, in the teaching, it is said that the flame of devotion and gratitude is above all other fiery offerings. In the teaching, it is said that the flame of devotion and gratitude is above all other fiery offerings. But alas, these two qualities are particularly rare among the inhabitants of this planet. If we do not know how to express our gratitude, then we'll never digest the things we receive. It's like studying the books, the teaching, having the gratitude that we even have these books, having the gratitude of the sacrificial service of the great ones that provided us with the teaching, having the spirit of gratitude of just what we offer here on Sundays, to realize that each word is the word of the teaching, which is the word of the Master. And as we begin to absorb ourselves and assimilate each word of the teaching, then our light is increasing, our health is increasing, our joy is increasing, and we begin to help our unfolding human soul to evolve. Now here is a verse from the book Community. The community must know the essence of gratitude. The essence of gratitude will be adjoined with the closest harmony of consciousness. Isn't that beautiful? Let me read it again. The essence of gratitude. The essence of gratitude will be adjoined with the closest harmony of consciousness. What better time than take advantage of our Thanksgiving holiday this year and consider what the Agni Yoga teaching says about gratitude. The Master tells us that the community must know the essence of gratitude. Well, okay, the question is, what is the community? The Master is talking about the community of groups around the world who are living the plan of hierarchy. He is saying if we understand the essence of gratitude, and this essence is in our hearts, then the consciousness of the community will join in closest harmony with the members of hierarchy. That gratitude means to see the opportunities and to be grateful to the giver of the opportunity that can make us awake, to stand on our own feet and to build our foundation. Opportunities would be like the opportunity to know ourselves. For example, something happened and you realize you're really ugly. Well, don't start cursing that moment and the people who caused that moment. Say, thank you, I am grateful, I'm so grateful for that moment, which like a light revealed some darkness in me. This is why when I had that moment with my teacher and he said, okay, I'll give you a day off. You know, after 3 years of facing your own darkness, having a day off is like a 3-year vacation. And then you go back. I was just reading an email from a very dear friend this morning who was having a difficult relationship, and she was engaged in a conversation with another person who was having some challenges in the relationship. And the two of them began to see certain things going on. In one was a present relationship, another one was a former relationship, of how they could have changed things, how they could have bettered themselves, how they could have done this different and done that different. And I was so proud of both of them. And one of them I don't even know, because they were working on themselves. They were working on themselves. So that was a great opportunity. Okay. It is only with the flood of gratitude that we can digest the lessons that we are eating through our life. We will never digest them in cursing the moments that should be causing us to be grateful. Are we grateful for the moments that helped us and were extended to us specifically as a test, like St. Sergius told his disciples, this is your test, to go 2 days without bread. And let me close just with this idea. If we do not know how to express our gratitude, we will never digest the things that we receive. In the teaching, it is said that the flame of devotion and gratitude is above all other fiery offerings. We'll end with that. Happy Thanksgiving. I know Thanksgiving is something we only practice in this country, but we can practice Thanksgiving, in fact, all over the world. So whether you're in Germany or whether you're in Spain or whether you're in Greece or in Switzerland, because I know people all over the world are watching our YouTube right now, you can't say, no, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving here. You know, of course we do. We need to celebrate Thanksgiving every day. That spirit of gratitude. Okay.